Hey everybody, this is Darren Van Dam and you're watching Flick Connection, the show that helps you get more out of movies. And today I want to tell you about the best mystery movies currently available on Netflix. Starting this list off at number 10, I've actually got a sci-fi movie that is totally a mystery and it's very, very difficult to figure out. I had a lot of trouble with this one. I kept going back and forth the entire time thinking, no, this is happening, this is happening. But basically it is about a guy who, an MIT student who is hacked, and he starts to track down his hacker through like these games on the computer, and ultimately finds himself in this facility where he has no idea what's going on. He has no idea why he's being held prisoner. Lawrence Fishburne stars, I won't say as the villain, but definitely as the antagonist. There's some really surprisingly good cinematography in this one, and the sci-fi element really starts to ramp up the longer you watch it. It does start off a little slow, but then it just really develops and goes in this direction I was not expecting. To me, it really felt like a long episode of Black Mirror or an old Twilight Zone or something like that. I liked it a lot. It is not the best movie on the list, which is why it's at the back at number 10, but I enjoyed the 90 minutes and was really actually surprised at how much I liked this one. My number 9 pick is a lesser known Netflix original movie called Shimmer Lake. Now this is a small town mystery. It involves the sheriff's department. Actually stars a surprising amount of comedic actors, and this movie is really in no way funny. So it's got a cool cast, and the entire story is told in reverse. But not like Christopher Nolan's Memento. This is more like every day you see an entire day of this investigation. So you're really watching a week in reverse, day by day, and it unfolds really well. There's some little gimmicks they do with it that keep it kind of fun, but it also deals with some very, very heavy subject matter. The backwards telling is a gimmick in itself, but it serves this particular story very, very well. The Constant Gardener actually got nominated for a whole slew of Academy Awards back when it came out, something like 15 years ago. But it is a good little mystery movie about a British diplomat in Kenya who's trying to solve the murder of his wife. And unlike Shimmer Lake, it's not told in reverse, but it is told with intermittent flashbacks. And the flashbacks really don't make sense as the movie begins, and that makes it sort of a dry watch, but the flashbacks become richer and develop in a really nice way, like a really surprising way. So I like the way this one developed. The story itself just got richer and richer as the movie went on, ultimately creating a really, really great experience. In fact, I would like to rate this one higher because the direction's great, the acting's great, the cinematography's great, but because it is a little dry on the front end, I put it all the way back here at number 8. Another one that will keep you guessing throughout is The Invitation. I absolutely love this one. It's one of my favorite movies currently available on Netflix, but it's about a man who goes to a dinner party at his ex-wife's house, and if that's not awkward enough, very, very strange things, mostly strange behaviors, start to come out of the other guest, including his wife and her boyfriend or whatever he is, and it starts to feel very culty, but it's very difficult to tell, is the main character, maybe seeing some things or misinterpreting things, or is something nefarious actually going on? And this is, like I said, another one that will keep you guessing all the way through. I have watched it multiple times, so I really, really recommend anybody that clicked on this video, if you've not seen it, definitely check out The Invitation. And for just a straight down the middle detective movie that I really, really liked a lot, Small Town Crime stars John Hawkes. It's a small movie about a small crime in a small town. I'll say the crime is actually not that small, but it's a good neo-noir detective story where John Hawkes plays an alcoholic ex-cop who really isn't supposed to be digging around where he's digging. So sounds very straightforward, and it is, but it's very well done. The story develops nicely. Hawkes gives an incredible performance. This one's enjoyable from beginning to end, and it really is just one of those hidden gems that a lot of people don't know about that came out just last year that you can currently catch on Netflix. If you like this type of content, definitely click the subscribe button, and be sure to click that little bell as well, because that's the only way you're going to get notified when I put new videos out. But I recommend movies like this multiple times a week, every week. Wind River is not only one of the better movies on Netflix, it was one of the better movies of 2017, and it got grossly overlooked. It stars Jeremy Renner, who is investigating the possible homicide of a young girl out in Alaska. They're in a blizzard for the majority of this movie. They're on and off of native reservation land, so there's some hostility and some tension that comes out of that. But this was actually written and directed by Taylor Sheridan, who wrote Sicario and Hell or High Water. I'm a big fan of his work. I think he did an incredible job directing this movie. I really, really liked it. So if you somehow still have not seen Wind River, I definitely recommend picking it up because I don't expect it to last much longer on Netflix. Now, for one that is going to mess with your brain for days after you watch it, Enemy is directed by Denis Villeneuve, who most recently did Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, Sicario. This is a small movie that he did sort of in between Arrival and Sicario. Jake Gyllenhaal plays a guy who essentially finds his doppelganger. His doppelganger's a movie star. He sees him in a movie, then in another one, tracks him down, and things just, that's just the beginning of where things get weird. This one gets super weird, but it's got incredible visuals. I mean, it's gonna kind of twist your brain in a pretzel. It's going to seem somewhat nonsensical at first, but it is not. There's a lot of symbolism in it. There's a lot of coded messages in it that your brain is going to try to figure out, like I said, the days after watching it. If that sounds like you and you like dark, creepy shit, check this one out. If you cannot handle a movie to end differently than you might expect that it should, you might want to stay away from this one. I know some of you are out there, but if you can't handle that type of movement in a movie, definitely give this one a chance. Moon is another one I've talked about on a sci-fi list, but it too is a mystery, and it fits really well here at number 3. It stars Sam Rockwell, who is one of my favorite actors, and he does an incredible performance here because he's the only actor in it. He's the only person you see because he is the sole inhabitant of a base on the moon. So you get kind of that type of a castaway performance where he's talking to himself and entertaining himself, but as entertaining as all that is to see like this spectacle of a man on the moon, things take a odd turn, and then he suddenly gets thrown into this mystery and this puzzle that he then has to solve. I really, really like this one. It's a criminally underrated movie. If you've never seen it, I cannot recommend this one enough, and the same goes for my top 2 picks. The Gift is actually written and directed and stars Joel Edgerton, the famous actor. You've seen him in a lot of stuff. He does an incredible job starring in this one. He did a great job writing it. He did a great job as his first time directing. I'm really, really excited to see what else he can do. Jason Bateman also stars, very off character in this, what I'm going to call a Hitchcockian thriller. This feels very much like a throwback Hitchcock story. It's a slow burn, but it is interesting from beginning to end because you never know quite what's going on. But Jason Bateman plays a guy in his late 30s, successful guy who bumps into somebody he sort of knew in high school. And this guy, played by Joel Edgerton, comes over for dinner, then maybe starts to come over when he's uninvited, and then starts to sort of tease out little bits of information, leaves a gift on the doorstep, and things start to become very twisted and warped from there. But like I said, very, very well executed, very, very overlooked when it came out. But I honestly am just waiting patiently to see what Joel Edgerton does next. I like him a lot as an actor. I like him better as a director. And then finally, probably the most known movie on this list, but still criminally underwatched, is The Game, directed by David Fincher, starring Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. Incredible movie. I've talked about it recently. I only just recently rewatched it for the first time in what might have been 8 years or so. And as much as I knew I liked it, I really forgot how good this movie is. It is so fun to watch. It's so uniquely David Fincher. But Michael Douglas plays this millionaire fat cat that is given the gift of this game. And it's a high-end game that requires him to take psych tests and all sorts of, like a physical, and ultimately he's not going to know what parts of his life are part of the game and which are not. So incredibly interesting setup. If you've ever done an escape the room or anything like that, this movie's very much like that, but it's so well done. Even knowing the twists and turns that it takes, and there are an endless number of twists and turns in this movie, every one of them, it doesn't still surprise me, but it's so well executed. It's still so enjoyable to watch after many viewings. I love this one. The cinematography is incredible. It's really one of the last good performances from Michael Douglas, only because he's, disappeared for various reasons. But man, this one, I gotta say, and I've said it before, I think it got a little bit overlooked and it's a little underappreciated because it's sandwiched between Seven and Fight Club, David Fincher's other two movies he did before and after this one. Those are superior to this, and because of that, this one sort of gets lost in the sauce. Watch it if you've never seen it. Trust me that you should rewatch it if you have seen it. But those are my picks. Let me know in the comments below what you will be watching. But I will keep making videos like this as long as you keep watching them. But thanks for checking this one out, and you will see me on the next one.